wanna go?
What is good, everybody out there on YouTube? This is your man Shatic Stick dropping some hot frogga on this mic. Today I am here with my boy Avataryaya. Say what's good in the hood, my boy. What is going on, Yaya?
Hey, what's good? What's poppin', everybody? It's Yaya, back like I never left. It's been a minute since we actually did a video, so it's lit. It's like he was just on my channel, so we just like play Uno right quick, reverse back to him. So I'm ready. Just go.
All right, so if you guys don't already know, the PlayStation 5 was revealed. Oh wow, amazing! This world-shattering news. But no, on the real, we're gonna be talking about the PlayStation 5, and we're gonna just cover three things. The first thing is we're gonna talk about what we liked about the presentation, and let's just start with you, Yaya. Let's go ahead and start with you since you're the guest.
Alright, so there was a lot I actually liked about that presentation. Like, it's crazy. I really like how they started it all. And I also like how they transition with the PlayStation buttons. Because it actually has personalities to me more so than the state of play. Like, the state of play feels very robotic, but like the way they did this reveal lineup, like showing the PlayStation buttons in different ways. And like a lot of people didn't probably realize, it was kind of showing it via like through generations of how the buttons were perceived. Or like one background would be like, they started off with the PlayStation logo, and then they started off with like the black one, and they went to blue, and then they went to like blue and black, and then they went to like, it had a theme going to it every time they did a different transition. And it also told like how far like, I don't know if I'm 100% accurate or correct on this, but I do feel like it kind of showed off like what games are probably coming to. There's probably some hidden meaning in there, which we probably won't know till later. But Sony usually does some things like that with a presentation for video games. And I think just this presentation overall, what I really liked was Spider-Man. I'm gonna be real with you.
Yes, I am about that action too. Like, Spider-Man was definitely like, that was the biggest thing for me personally, I'm gonna say. Like, I was like, this is the thing I'm excited about the most. That's not to say, actually no, I can't say that. That's not the thing I'm excited about the most, but that's the thing that got me hyped the most, because I saw the most of what I needed to see of it, you know what I mean? Like, it was like, oh wow, I wasn't expecting, I was expecting like Spider-Man 2 or something like that, but I wasn't expecting the whole Miles Morales full going in that, this game, Miles is the protagonist, so I was really excited about that.
Well, not to cut you off, but to say something about Spider-Man, I don't want to jump the gun. I'm very excited, but then I'm semi-concerned. Because I feel like this game might get treated like the First Light treatment. You understand what I'm saying?
Like with Infamous, where it felt like First Light kind of just felt like, where it kind of felt like a diet soda version of the original game, where they just cut off even though all the parts of the map were in access, you just only have this one portion of the map you can access. I'm assuming is what you're saying, like, and it's just significantly smaller than what it could have been.
Right, and I feel like with this game, because if you think about it, it's just like Spider-Man came out 2018.
Yeah,
right?
Man, it's been almost 2 years since that game came out.
So in theory, unless they started around the time like after they went gold, let's say like the earliest because the game came out in September, I remember. That's when I got my PS4 Pro. Unless they started like January, which makes sense. I don't know if they could pull that off in 2.5 years. Well, they probably could, because they already got assets they could just reuse and just upscale and do a lot of graphical stuff too. So it does seem possible to make a full-scale version of like Spider-Man PS4, but a second one with just Miles Morales. I just don't want it to feel like the DLC, if you know what I mean.
Like, I completely get you with that one. Like, a few people were actually they were talking about this on like Twitter and stuff, and they were like, yeah, I'm excited about it, but like, is there like, the game might not be as good as it is, because you brought that up. Like, a lot of people were saying it just because they were like, oh, I'm worried because it's Miles. It's like, no, you shouldn't be worried because it's Miles. You should be worried more so because of what you just said. That's actually a really good point. If I had to choose something and all of that, like especially like you said, the presentation was top notch in terms of how they presented things, especially in considering like the most of Sony's past like presentations have been, like you said, like especially the state of plays have been robotic. I just like the, you know, flair it had this time around. It felt like they actually cared about what they were talking about. But the biggest thing for me in all of this that I felt excited for was the Project Athia from Square Enix. Like, I was not expecting that. I was expecting Final Fantasy 16. Maybe that's Final Fantasy 16, but it's under Luminous Productions. I don't know what engine it's on. I hope they're not using the Luminous Engine. I mean, it says Luminous.
Project Athia?
Yeah, Project Athia.
Oh, yeah, they definitely using the Luminous Engine. It's 100% confirmed.
Like, it looks beautiful. Luminous Engine probably is the most beautiful engine out there. Don't get me wrong. But this scares me a little bit because...
Well, let me kill that. Let me kill that for you. So, Square Enix actually... The difference between 15 and now... 15 and 14 and versus now... They have an actual division dedicated for the Luminous Engine. So, that's... At this point, like... After 15 came out in what, 2017, 2016?
2016.
2016. They have had 3 years to master the Luminous Engine, right? And I'm gonna be real with you, that 15 seconds, that minute trailer looked way better than a lot of stuff in 15. Like, they nailed it. They've nailed the speed and graphical fidelity of that in that trailer was what's portrayed. I feel like the problem with the Luminous Engine beforehand, though, was with 15, you had the game going through development hell. As to Athia, we don't know what it's going through right now.
Well, on top of that, it was made like specifically for Final Fantasy 13, if you remember. And the game just like, that's part of the reason why 13 turned out the way it did. And that's part of the reason why 15... That's a large portion of why 15 turned out the way it did. Because if you remember, actually, like, that's part of the reason, like, they stopped... Like, they had to basically restart production on Kingdom Hearts 3 was because of the Luminous Engine. I'm just worried because, I don't know, they haven't said anything in terms of what they've improved in the Luminous Engine. So, while it did look amazing, it looked amazing. Don't get me wrong. I was up there like, oh, whoa. I'm interested in what this is. At the same time, I was concerned because I was just like, it was in the back of my head as I was screaming. Like, oh man, this is Luminous Productions. That means Luminous Engine likely. Is this game going smoothly? I mean, I hope it is. I'm crossing my fingers. Like you said, you know, they've had a while to tweak the engine and, you know, master it. Almost 4 years now, you know. It's crazy to think about it. Final Fantasy 15 originally was supposed to release in September. You know, the game basically went gold. It was done. The only thing they basically delayed it for was so they could have the entire game on the disc when it launched. It's been nearly 3 years. 4 years now. It's almost half a decade that game's come out. I just think overall, though, like, while I like the whole shebang, I guess, as a whole, it didn't get me as hyped as I thought it would. And I say that because, first of all, it started with GTA, but they recovered heavily because we got Ratchet and Clank, and I was just, it looked amazing. There's no other way to put it. It looked amazing. But you had this entire middle section that was just boring. Like, I don't care about Bugsnax. I don't care about furry indie game number 312.
All right. Hold on. You right? Cause what's the name of that game, bro? It kind of blew me. It was
the furry game.
Yeah.
I have this whole thing open. It's called Goodbye Volcano High.
Oh yeah. That name See, there's some games in there that I didn't care for. Like, I could run them down and you be honest with you. Stray, I'm never buying that game. Returnal might be a game I would probably get, because the gameplay actually did look good, but I probably won't pay full price for it. And I don't know if it got multiplayer or not. If it do, it might be more of a thing. Destruction All-Stars, I'm not even going to get that game, only because it's going to probably be a PS Plus game in a year from it coming out. What else is what's another? Odd World don't sit with me. It's that style that I don't like in video games. Like, it might be freaking phenomenal. Can't do it. I can't do it. So I understand how you feel, but that game, watch that game be really good. The Bible Volcano High. Watch that game be really good. I'm telling you.
Nah, dog, that game ain't about to be no type of gas. I was like, nah.
See, people said that about Danganronpa though. Remember that?
Bro, I refuse to touch Danganronpa. I have yet to say it about it. So you know what? We gonna let it rock with that.
Yeah.
But on the real though, it's like one of those things where like they had a lot of strong stuff at the beginning, like Ratchet and Clank, Project Athia, Marvel Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and then Kana. Kana was like the game out of all like the, outside of Project Athia. I think out of all like the new stuff, Kana is what appealed to me the most. It looked like the Avatar game we never got. If that makes any type of sense.
No. I feel that. Let me tell you what it actually is from when I saw it, though. You actually have a different perspective. It's PlayStation's Pikmin.
Don't say that. I don't want to play it anymore.
No, think about it. Because, like, the little black things worked as Pikmin. Except for with her, she got combat, though. You get what I'm saying?
Okay, I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because you use them to work together. And then, I don't know, I just feel like that game's going to be really good. I feel like that's game. Another thing to bring up, too. Sorry to switch points like this.
No, you good, man.
Platformers are going to take over next gen. Like, right now, between Xbox and PlayStation, they've been hitting the marks with the platformers. Like, think about almost every other game had some type of platformer presence. And I'm very happy about that. Because I feel like last gen was so focused on being like, hey, yeah, guns. not RPG, guns. Multiplayer.
Man, it's felt like that for the past 2 gens, dog. Because even like Nintendo and Sega were the only people putting out platformers, and you know how hit or miss Sega is. So yeah, I feel you on that one, bro. I was like, the platformers returned. We got Sackboy too. We got an actual Little Big Planet game. We got the first real 3D Little Big Planet, bro.
Little Big Planet Galaxy,
bro. Yes. You know what? I'm gonna let it rock because it's true, and that's all I need. Like,
bro, go look back at that trailer, and it's like this one moment he's spinning on the ice, and it has the same spin animation when you do like a trick on the ice and you jump. You can. I'm gonna make that tweet after this, but you'll see it, bro. Like, it's literally frame by frame the same thing, and I guarantee somebody that worked at Nintendo went to Saudi.
Like, overall, I think there's a lot I liked. Resident Evil 8. I still haven't played Resident Evil 7, mostly because, everything around that time I just didn't have money for. I either didn't have money or I didn't have the time. So Resident Evil 7 got put on the back burner, so I eventually got to play that because Resident Evil 8 looks insane. It looks freaking insane. I'm not a Soulsborne guy. I hate the games with a passion. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry to let all you people know that I hate Soulsborns. Demon Souls, I actually have a funny story with Demon Souls. My friend let me borrow Demon Souls, and then I threw the game in the garbage. And then I remembered I have to bring it back to him at the end of the week. So I pulled it out of the garbage like 3 days later.
Wait, what game?
Demon Souls.
Okay. So,
That's how much I dislike the Soulsborne games. But I am happy for fans of the series because that game has been locked on PS3.
People are upset about it. Actually.
For real?
They're talking about how like there's this one boss in Demon Souls. He has the 3 eyes. Can't remember his name right now. But it looked goofy back then. They remade it, and it looks more of like a Doom-like thing. It's the same thing I was talking about on Twitter like earlier this week, where there's gonna be people that hate like reimaginings of their favorite games. A prime example, Tales of, to me, I love how Tales of look. I'm the person that I'm always willing to try new games and stuff and new types of styles. However, I will say that Unreal Engine like style they're going with Tales of kind of puts me off on it, even though it does look good, because the charm of Tales of is what keeps it there. It's like how people are with Pokemon. Well, I feel like with Pokemon kind of dwindled down and died for me after Gen 5. Because the sprites is what made Pokemon fire to me. That's just me. You know?
Nah, I completely understand. And I understand what people get from with that. You know, you're right on that aspect. A lot of people aren't going to vibe with remakes and remasters. I mean, I think that even goes back. I think that's always happened, man. I think the first big remaster I remember of any game growing up was like, you know, from our generation of games, you know, like we grew up with the PS2, GameCube, but we grew up with all that. Like the first big remaster we seen from that generation was Sonic Adventure 1 to Sonic Adventure DX. There's this whole cult, you know, related to hating Sonic Adventure DX because for some reason they hate how it looks, and I'm like, I don't understand how y'all hate this, but okay. One thing I do gotta say though is I feel like there was too much fluff in this. Like, I like, say for instance, I know 2K is there for the people who are like the casuals, but I feel like the casuals weren't watching this event. You know what I mean? Like the casuals, yeah, they're gonna hear about it, but they're the guys who are gonna be like, yeah, man, you heard about that PS5? Yeah, I'm gonna buy Madden and 2K on it. You ready to get whooped? Like that? Those guys aren't watching this. You know, they ain't the guys who are gonna go play Kenna or play, you know, Ratchet and Clank. Like, and then I also feel like I was disappointed in some ways because Godfall was a game that got announced last year. Yeah, and it doesn't look that good. It doesn't look like a next-gen game. I think that was the biggest issue with Bugsnax. Bugsnax looked like a PS3 game.
Well, here's the thing you gotta realize, which I kind of agree with you on some parts and I kind of heavily disagree. I feel like we're getting to the point with video games that the leap's not going to be that big. So yeah, there's going to be some stuff that you see. Like, go look at the also, if you watched it live, the stuff you see live is not the stuff that they put up on YouTube afterwards. Because they're in higher quality, they're in 4K. Like the Spider-Man trailer that you see live at the beginning, completely different when you go watch the 4K version. Like, I was blown away. But, generally with a lot of games, I just want them to make more diverse games. That's my goal going into PlayStation 5, because I know the leap's not going to be that big. It is getting hard to tell the difference between a pre-rendered cutscene and gameplay. I'm not going to lie to you. It's
it is.
It was this robot game, I can't remember the name of it, but it was like walking around in the street like all the humans were gone, but it was just robots. And
that's actually Stray. That's Stray.
Oh yeah, Stray, right? Yeah. And like I was like, bro, is this gameplay? And then it was like, oh, in the bottom right, this is gameplay. I was like, what? And the cat part was pre-rendered. I was blown.
Like, it's insane. Because like, all right, I will say the leap isn't going to be as big this generation as previous gens, which, you know, in itself is a good and bad thing. But like, I will say this, I think like there is no excuse now, considering how powerful the hardware is, for these games to look like they're from generations ago. Let me say that much.
Right, yeah.
And that's why I felt disappointed. Like, if I can tell that this is like, I can look at Bugsnax and be like, yo, that looks like a PS3 game, that's no bueno. You know what I mean?
See, but
go ahead.
But see, but then I also feel like, I don't know, because I feel like with certain games, they're going to have certain charm to them. I think that's the goal of Bugsnax. Like, essentially it looks somewhat near Fortnite-ish and Octodad-ish, right? So they're going to keep their same style. That game's probably going to be one of the most beloved games, especially coming from the team of Octodad. The problem is...
I'm not doubting it's going to be a good game. Let me say that. It's just like, I think visual fidelity and art style are two different things. So, like, I just expect it, like, when I look at the ground, I don't expect to just see, like, a really low resolution texture. And then that was the first thing we saw.
No.
You see what I mean?
I get you, I feel that. Yeah. See, again, that sucks, but I'm happy they actually showing gameplay. You get what I'm saying? Like, they actually showed gameplay. That's something where they excelled versus Microsoft in their presentation. Because, right now... Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think that was the big issue with Microsoft's thing. Everything was in engine on Microsoft's show. It all looked amazing, but it didn't really tell us anything about the games. Like, when I look at the game, like, when I look at, say, for instance, Scorn, I don't know what type of game that is. Yeah. But as soon as I see, like, something like, say, for instance, on this one, we saw Kenna. That's the easiest one I can think of. Kenna, mm-hmm. I can immediately tell because they drop gameplay with it. Oh, this is an action adventure game where I'm playing as this protagonist who can do all these things, X, Y, and Z. It's the fact that I can tell what I'm looking at and I know how the game is going to play and if it's tailored to me. And it's not just some visual showcase, you know, of what the console can do. More so what the gameplay and the game is going to be like. Because at the end of the day, it is a game. You know, for games like Demon Souls, remastered, you don't have to show that because it's a remaster of a game we've already had before. But I feel like, especially when you have new games or you have, you know, these games we haven't seen yet, like, you have to show the gameplay. And while some of the games were disappointing, like, some of them I just felt shouldn't have been there, like Deathloop. Deathloop is coming out on the PS4 and Xbox One. You could look at it and you could tell it's a game from this generation. Despite it, you know, having all, like, the settings cranked to max on PlayStation 5, it still looks like a game from this generation. And that's merely because it's a game from this generation.
Yeah.
But Godfall, say, for instance, that one was disappointing me more than Bugsnax. Because Bugsnax, I can give Bugsnax a little pass because that's an indie studio. Godfall, a AAA game, doesn't really look like it. And then the gameplay didn't look all that great. And I was like, oh man, come on. And they had indie games in there that looked amazing. Like Solar Ash looked amazing.
But then that was kind of broken.
Then you had Jet the Far Shore, and I didn't know what was going on. They just had a zoomed out rocket ship for like 2.5 minutes, and I was just like, I don't know what's happening. I'm kind of bored. So I feel like really conflicted because there was so much good stuff, but there was so much like stuff where I'm sitting here bored. Like, I think I was just legitimately bored for about 30-40 minutes.
This is how I feel. This is how I feel like when it comes to a launch console. What's good about a launch console is if you have something of everything, some type of game for everybody. Because when I get a launch console, I want to make sure I have games for everybody to play. Sony delivered in the aspects where maybe if I don't like the game, like, for example, Oddworld to me is whack.
Yeah.
But knowing that it's a platformer, a post-apocalyptic, you know what I mean, post-apocalyptic version of a platformer, there's going to be something for people that like that type of stuff. And in Solar Ash, which is indie, but it's also another platformer, they got Hitman, they got...
Gas.
I'm not going to lie to you. A game that I think might be fire is Little Devil Inside.
Oh, that game actually looks fire.
that game's kind of threw me off because it was like the art style at first wasn't kicking it with me until they showed him cutting the little monsters and stuff. I was like, oh, this is the type of game we playing.
Like, I was into it. I was into the art style, but I was like, dang, they ain't really showing nothing. Then homeboy punched dude and then shot him, and I was like, oh, whoa, this is what we doing here, son. Okay, I got you on this one. I feel like I wanted more information about the console at some point, and I think that's why I feel the way I am. Because, like, we got games. Now I kind of want to know what the console can do. If that makes sense? Like, I haven't seen the UI. I haven't seen, and that's not something I necessarily have to see off rip. It's just like Sony's been so hesitant on giving us any type of information about the console. It's just like when we get some, it's either massive or nothing. You know what I mean? People were freaking out about a PS5 logo a month ago. I don't know. Like, say for instance, we got the console, and they showed us the two configurations, a diskless one and one with a disc. How much space is it going to come with? First of all, because we saw the SKUs for like 800 some odd gigabytes and then 1600 gigabytes on Amazon, which, you know, indicates either a few things. You know, games are going to get smaller this generation, so they don't actually have to worry about putting in a terabyte. B, they're cutting corners, which I think that's why the diskless console exists. Yeah. And C, what is the price? Now, I understand people are going to say they're not going to show the price until Microsoft shows the price and vice versa.
But that's bad because...
Like, exactly. Go ahead.
Let me say this. Here's my problem. I'm the type of person that like to save up and do stuff in advance. So, like, Sony, bro, like, y'all should have, like... I understand not doing it today, but y'all need to at least y'all need to at least say something by the end of July, at least, because like if you want people to buy this on launch, you gotta give people a reason to you know, save up for it and stuff like that. I mean, it's been on a lot of people's minds that like, alright, the PS5 is coming out, but like, you know, people like burning money. Well, everybody ain't gonna be able to save money a certain way like that. So for me, in the back of my mind, I'm like, alright, PS5 coming out at the end of this year. Trying to moderately save money without spending all my money. You know what I'm saying? But
exactly.
at the end of the day, like, me personally, Sony's gonna get the most money out of me because I don't want the digital only version. Right? I'm gonna want the disc version.
Same.
So like for me, I'm okay with. Because if I could, like, let's be real, I might just get rid of my Spider-Man PS4 Pro or another PlayStation 4 that I have in there to get this one. Because if it's going to be backwards compatible, if they give me a launch special edition Spider-Man PlayStation 5, I'm Gucci. Because all my games are going to be backwards compatible. They may not have the boost mode of them, but, like, I can still play my PS4 games on the PS5. I'm perfectly fine with that. Now, problem that I personally am annoyed with the PS5 is the one USB port is horrible.
Oh my god, yes.
So here's people got mad at me for saying this, right? This was blowing me earlier today because I'm about to rant earlier, or right now. So if you play fighting games, right? Think about it. One USB port in the front.
Like so that first of all, that invalidates someone like, I already know, like, people are saying, oh, it has a USB port in the back. The issue is it's in the back. When you're in a tournament environment, and first of all, you don't want to be destroying setups, dog.
Yeah.
Second of all, fight sticks are wired for a reason. A lot of controllers are wired for a reason. Latency. And then on top of that, let's not even talk about fighting games. Imagine you got two people in your house. All right. Y'all both play co-op games together. Co-op gaming still exists. You know, multiple people live in the same house. That happens. Imagine you have to you have to charge two controllers at the same time. I mean, I don't think this is the move, man. I just really do not.
Yeah, I understand. Like, you don't think it's the move, and I don't either. But here's the thing. Hopefully, they got one USB port on the back, right? Just another one. That's like the least okay scenario, right? the best case scenario is they have like 2 to 3 on the back, right? Because I could plug such and such in, or I could plug in the USB, my stick or whatever, and then what developers can do or tournament setups, they could just have a PlayStation face one way, where you just have it turn around and just plug it in, and have it like, they have things like just for the Nintendo Switch, so you can't steal them or make them move. They have things for all types of consoles, Xboxes. They have those things that they mount to the table. You could just literally like remove it at ease. The problem here is people are like, well, just buy a USB dongle, and I'm just like, dog. And then I'm like, I shouldn't have to pay for a USB dongle. And people was like, y'all ain't say that with Smash. I'm like, bro, we're the main ones mad that we complain about Smash Online every day. How you gonna say we not gonna say that when we really upset that they didn't even include one in the dock? And even if you want to play that game and say, oh, keep that same energy, the Switch dock on a portable hybrid console has 3 USB ports. It has 2 on the right side and a 3.0 point in the back.
Exactly.
So, I'm not even trying to be like pick sides or anything like that, but I'm like, bro, if the PS5 doesn't have multiple USB ports, because I'm like, somebody said USB, they're not using USB ports anymore. And I'm like, what? PCs have like 30 different, my PC has 8 USB 2.0, probably even more. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. 8 USB 2.0s and 2 3.0s in the front, right? I'm not taking that, right?
Like, it's the fact that the controller charges over Type-C. You're gonna be expected, because I'm pretty sure they're gonna sell the docking thing separately. That's how you make money, first of all. Second of all, like, to not have a wired solution and the box is pretty brain dead. I'm gonna keep it real with you. For them to not have a wired solution to charge the controller, so to say they won't use USB-A to USB-C is kind of stupid. You know what I mean? The people out there saying it, like, it's like me sitting here saying, like, if I bought a phone, to not expect it to expect it to be USB-C to something else. Like, no, it's USB-A to USB-C. So like, there's so much good about this thing, and I feel like I don't want to, be picky, but like, I gotta spend my money on this. I'm gonna probably be spending my money on this at the end of the year, and I want it to be good before it comes out, if that makes sense. And I just want people to know that. Like, it's just one of those things where I feel like, Sony needs to, they're right there. They're right there at having something that's like perfect, but they're just doing things in ways that make it inconvenient for me, the consumer. Because I know that Microsoft can undercut them. If they come out with a $600 console, I could just save up $500, and I know if Sony come out with a $600 console, the Series that's going to come out at $450, and I'm going to be done. But if Sony comes out with a console that's legitimately at like $450 or $500, then it's going to be harder, so I'll just go out and buy, I want to be able to know how much I'm spending on a console and what that money is going to get me, basically.
I don't know, bro. I just feel like,
yeah,
for a presentation, they nailed something. Because now I know, even if some games are saying 2021 is about to be crazy. Because of what's happening in the world. Try not to get you, demonetized. But, there's gonna be a lot of stuff coming out in 2021. I know a lot of people in my community are disappointed because there was no fighting game announcements, and it's online this year. However, I want y'all to know that Evo is coming, and we said that last year. They dropped bangers. They said the year before. They drop bangers. It makes more sense since the games are so niche. It makes more sense to announce stuff at the biggest floor forward. So
exactly. I just feel overall the PlayStation 5 is going to be a good console. I just don't want to be in a PS3 situation. In terms of my concerns, the only concerns I really have are like price. and the longevity of the console, because we know the specifications now. I don't know how long it's gonna last until it needs a refresh. Whereas the Series X, I know like that's gonna last a while. That thing is busted. Like the PS5 is strong, but console generations are getting longer now. Cause you don't think about it, but the PS2 Dreamcast generation that started in 1999 with the Dreamcast, and the rest of the consoles didn't come out till 2001. So let's just say, excluding the Dreamcast, that generation was 2001 to basically 2005 because the 360 dropped. But that generation, because of the recession, and I think because we have a recession this generation, because again, what's going on in the world right now?
Yeah.
This generation is going to last longer, and these consoles coming out are going to be dependent on more so their price point and what they can offer to the player at the time of release. I don't know. That's just me. And it's about getting the most bang for your buck. How do you feel about all of this, Yaya? Like, what is your greatest concern, or, what are the things that you're worried about going into this next generation with the PlayStation 5 specifically?
I'll be real. I don't know if I could necessarily say this, but out of PlayStation, which I'll be straight up, PlayStation 4 is probably my least favorite generation of PlayStation. And overall, it's because like it's more so on the devs' fault, not just PlayStation. Because like a lot of games that I like, half of them been garbage after, like, cause I cover the anime game stuff. So like everything after like 2017, there's been like one or two that's actually been really fun to play for me. However, I just need that, and I don't really think it's gonna be a PS3 situation, cause right now Sony has that. There's a lot of people that still have that mindset that like, yo, Xbox is just straight trash. Like, and at this point, people are already into that like super capitalistic and consumerism like ideology of just getting stuff. Like, the price of a PlayStation 5 is nothing to complain about when you got people going to buy the iPhone 11 Pro Max for $1,145. You know what I'm saying? So like, people go.
I do have a rebuttal to that, and my rebuttal is, many people don't view game consoles like their cell phones or like their computers because they aren't considered essential. You know what I mean? Your cell phone is considered essential, so someone will spend $1,000 on a cell phone because it's considered important to them versus their console not really being important. And this goes beyond, just, people who play video games or people who don't play video games. This even goes into video game consoles. That's kind of the reason why the PlayStation 3 flopped. The PlayStation 3, well, it didn't flop. It ended up doing well in the end, but like out the gate, that's why it flopped. It's because like when you look at it, like the PS3, even though it was amazing, it had all the bells and whistles. It could play PS1, PS2, and PS3 games. You could download games now. The games use Blu-rays. Everything was amazing about that console. You could play your music off of USB drives. It's basically a computer replacement. At the end of the day, it's a video game console, so people were like, oh wow, I got to spend $600 to play video games instead.
Well, yeah, I feel that, but at the same time, like, there's cheaper phones out there. You don't really need to spend that. But you know how the Apple getting YouTube work out here, so we ain't gonna get into that. But I do agree, you are right. I just feel like right now, the PS5 actually, for me personally, looking way better than PS4's launch. Like,
I will agree with you on that one. I agree with you.
Because like, even though here's the thing about the presentation, it's not the only presentation. That's the thing that people are forgetting. So like, from now, right now, they showed off Spider-Man. They're like, all right, I know I'm gonna get that. People are like, they're already gonna get that. They probably got some more stuff in the pipeline, just like Xbox got stuff too. That's what this whole Summer Fest thing is going on. Like, that's gonna be going on till the end of August, right? I honestly have a prediction. I know this off topic. That after that, Nintendo finna be like, we got a direct. Like Nintendo finna come out of here like it's my turn. So, I don't know. I'm okay with getting the PS5 at launch because of Spider-Man. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Same, like, it's like, though, I'm looking at, like, Spider-Man, and I'm like, dang, I want that at launch. And the PS5, you know, it has that exclusive for me to get it, you know. I'm not gonna lie, I couldn't care less about any of the other exclusives outside of Canna, Project Athea. I know it's coming this year, we all know. It's a Square game, why would it? And Horizon Zero Dawn 2, I didn't play the first one, so I'm not even gonna worry about playing the second one as of right now.
I'm about to speed through it.
Bro.
You know to be the worst case scenario, bro? Like, one of Nintendo was just like, Breath of the Wild 2 coming out this fall. Like, that'd be so tilted, because I'd be like, I just played. Because, I'm sorry, Breath of the Wild gonna get played over. I'm not even the biggest Zelda. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I'm not the biggest Zelda fan. But I'm gonna be real. Breath of the Wild grasped me more than Horizon Zero Dawn did at launch. And that's why I didn't play that game first. I'm looking at the case as we speak. And I'm just like, look, I'm probably not gonna touch you for a minute.
Like, so, it's just one of those tragic stories. Like, that game will forever be the game that wasn't Breath of the Wild. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how good it is. You just know it's not Breath of the Wild. So you're just like, man, that's crazy. Why would I touch you in Breath of the Wild? And that sucks. That sucks. But, like, that's just how it is. Breath of the Wild exists. The game near perfect. It's just the way it is. But
yep.
Let's just wrap it up. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about concerning the PlayStation 5?
I just want to know how the data transfer gonna work. Cause if it's just as seamless as going from PS4 to PS4 Pro, where I could get all my if my PS4 digital library is, which it should be backwards compatible, right? That is backwards compatible.
We don't know the extent of its backwards compatibility.
That's the problem I'm scared of.
So, like, that's one of the things where I said, like, I'm fine with buying it because of games, but at the same time, like, that's hard transition. Because then, like, there are still games coming out for the PS4, and I don't know how compatible these games will be with the PS5, and they've already said that all developers are required to make PS5 versions of games, which automatically means which means to a lot of people like, hey yo, so can I not use my PS4 version on my PS5? And they said the top 100 games thing, and they never clarified basically. And Microsoft, admittedly, even though they fumbled the bag with the games presentation, everything else has been like a hit. They're like, oh, every Xbox One game, work out the box. Guess what we're doing with the original Xbox and 360 games? All the ones that were in the back compat for Xbox One, work day one. All of them have automatic HDR. They all upscale to 4K. They tell us these things, right. And I think when you're transparent with a consumer like that, it instills trust. Like, people don't realize this. The only reason the Xbox One failed, it didn't even fail. It sold well. It sold about 50 million units. It's just the PS4 sold double that. So it kind of squashed in sales. Not right. Kind of, but it pooped on it in sales. But the only reason that console sold poorly was because of its E3.
Oh, yeah.
Like, literally, the reason the PlayStation 4 sold was because of one, and I'll put it up here if I can find it, is where it was Shuhei Yoshida, and I think, I forgot the other guy's name. It's not Mark Cerny. His name is Andrew something. I forgot his name. Andrew House. And Andrew House, I think it was Shuhei Yoshida and Andrew House. I remember Shuhei Yoshida. And they literally uploaded this the same day as the Xbox, right after the Xbox press conference. I'll never forget it. They uploaded it, and it was a tutorial on how to share games, because the big deal with the Xbox One was originally always online, DRM, and then you couldn't share disc, which at the time was a big deal because most games were being played physically. So, I mean, still most games are bought physically and played physically, but back then especially, you know, like 90 some odd % of games were. So Shuei Yoshida gives Andrew House, I think, or whoever it was, a PS4 game case, and then he's like, and then it's just like, PlayStation. This is the most powerful statement that could ever be made.
Right.
None of them, both consoles were crap for 2 years. They had no games. There weren't really nothing to buy but Infamous and Sunset Overdrive. And then they started releasing games. Or Halo. Xbox had Halo. It had that. And then we had Last of Us Remastered. There wasn't much to really buy on those consoles for about 2 years outside of third-party games. So this generation, it just seems like both are coming out swinging. We don't know exactly what Microsoft has up their sleeve just yet in terms of games, but we know what they're doing in terms of their console, whereas vice versa with Sony. Sony, I know games, but I know nothing about the console, really.
Yeah, but, like, I know for me, like, I'm gonna just say, like, right now, they being, like, childish with this price stuff. They trying to see who's gonna drop the price first. Because somebody gotta take the L and drop it first, right? Like, somebody gotta drop the PS5 and the Xbox Series X price. Like, I don't know. Somebody got to.
Like, the thing is, Sony can't afford it. Microsoft can sell the console at $300. You know, they're obviously not gonna sell at $300, but they can sell the console at $300 and take the loss and be completely fine. Whereas with Sony, they can't. And that's the big issue here. So we legitimately have to wait on Sony to drop a price, because Microsoft's not going to drop it. Unless it's $400, Microsoft's not going to tell us the price. I think it might be $400, $450. Only because the Xbox One X just went down to $300. And that's out of the competing price bracket.
Yeah.
Whereas, because the One X was $500 beforehand.
Well, what I'll say on this video is, I personally feel like they're both playing the you know, devil's advocate. Well, like, Microsoft is like, hey, yo, bro, we got, like, the Xbox Series X, and then we got the Lockhart, and then you got Sony, like, so yeah, we're gonna make one with the disc, and we're gonna make a digital-only version. And, like, if you look at how the Xbox, Xbox One S did it, it was a $150 price cut with just digital only. So, like, whatever Sony does for the base PS5, right, they're gonna probably do something around like $50 to $150 on the cut. So it's up to whoever says the date of birth, the date of, like, the date, and whoever says it as soon as possible. So that's literally what it is.
You're right about that. I think I'm gonna end it here though, because this is real long.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put a JPEG over it, and that's gonna be it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm probably gonna put some Spider-Man gameplay or something over this, but guys, I want to say thank you for listening to this whole thing. If you did, thank you, Yaya, for coming out on the channel, you know, talking about the PlayStation 5. If you haven't already checked out Yaya's channel, or you aren't subbed already, make sure you check the description down below. Again, thank you, Yaya, for coming out and talking about the PlayStation 5. But guys, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Share this video to all your friends. Make sure you follow my new Twitter at MobShatic100, and make sure you join the Discord. Links will be down in the description. Also, you know, merch is still in the merch shop. The Bayonetta shirts are on sale, so I hope you guys buy those and love those. And remember, Hot Faraga turns to Cold Blizzaga. Make sure you chill out some of my other videos. Peace.
I hate that so much.